So I just watched a few videos about anti-drug messages. Particularly, I was looking at this new Australian one that they've got out in South Wales called Stoner Sloth. And the premise of that is trying to get kids off of weed by portraying weed smokers as sloths, these human sloth hybrids, stoner sloths. And they put them in situations like in class where they're all slow and everyone ends up just yelling like, "Stoner Sloth!" Just so ridiculous. And of course, people have criticized it in Australia for being extremely ineffective. And I gotta say, I am with those people completely, because you watch it and you actually feel bad for Stoner Sloth. It's like everyone's picking on the poor sloth characters. I mean, it starts out as like, "Hey, could you pass the salt?" And the Stoner Sloth's like, they're like, "Stoner Sloth!" And the sloth has his little cry. So no, if I were South Wales, I'd ditch the ad. It's just, everyone feels for Stoner Sloth. You're making a hero out of the weed smoker. You're trying to get people off of weed. That's not going to work. But they don't feel bad, because here in the United States, over the last few decades, we've just had some of those we've had some of the worst anti-drug PSAs you can imagine. I think one of the worst is the famous "This is your brain on drugs," which is the fried egg, and it's like, yeah, I remember seeing a poster for that in the 80s. It's like, "This is your brain, this is drugs," which is the frying pan. "This is your brain on drugs," the frying egg. "This is your brain with a side of bacon." And other ones like "Mr. T will beat you up," and "drug dealers are snakes," and yeah. So I'd ditch the Stoner Sloth unless you just want to encourage kids to smoke weed, because they can turn into sloth hybrids. So what do you think is the worst anti-drug PSA that you've ever seen, or just any sort of PSA, safety, anti-gun PSA that you've ever seen? Just put your answers in the comments section below. I didn't even talk about the Canadian PSAs, which is just a trip with uppity zombies and freakish Muppets.